Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to our cozy little corner of the internet. Today I'll be reading chapter 7 of Turning Tide by Pretty Bean. Hope you guys enjoyed this and let's get right into the fic. Chapter 7, Avoid. Koyo was sitting in her office drinking a cup of tea when suddenly her phone starts ringing. She picks it up. Hello? She asks. Hello, is this Koyo? This is the Armed Detective Agency. The person on the other end of the line says, Yes, this is her. Who is this? How did you get my number? And what do you need? She asks, a bit confused on why the agency was calling her. Yes, my name is Kunikita. I'm not sure if we've spoken before. Anyways, we got your number from Kyoka. As for what we just want a few questions. We can make them worth your time. Kunikita says, hoping along with the others that she will agree. Koyo took a deep breath. Yes, I'll answer your questions. As for doing what's worth my time, we'll figure that out later, she said, wanting to be on the phone with them as little time as possible. A new order had gone out this morning and she didn't want to risk getting into trouble. The order? Don't attempt to make contact with the Armed Detective Agency no matter what. The order was very sudden. The second the Mafia officially opened, Chuya had announced it. Amazing, thank you so much. First of all, if you wouldn't mind telling us, what was the cause of Mori's death? Kunikita asked, clearly a bit of worry in his voice. Poison, and before you ask, I don't know what kind other than it killed him in less than 3 hours, she said, hearing some talking on the other side. She just patiently waited for them to be done. I see. From our sources, we have heard that not only did he not have a funeral, but very few people have seen him. Do you mind, if you don't mind that I ask, why would someone of his status not have a funeral? And did you get a chance to see the body? Kunikita asked, hoping that she would at least have an answer for one of the questions. Koyo paused. She really shouldn't be telling them, but maybe they realized something was wrong too. No, we didn't have a funeral, and you're correct. Not many people saw the body, but I was one of the few. She let out a breath, worrying that this might be a mistake, but she wanted to hold some trust in them. Would you mind if I pass the phone to Dr. Yoshino? She has a few questions for you, Kunikita said. Yoshino has wanted to ask some questions about the body itself in an attempt to figure out what poison killed him. Go ahead, Koyo asked. She heard some shuffling before a new voice spoke. Hello, Koyo. Yoshino spoke. I have a few questions about Mori's body if you don't mind me asking. Feel free to ask what you wish, she said, still trying to keep herself as professional as possible. What did his body look appearance-wise? Yoshino asked, having a notepad in front of her ready to write down whatever Koyo said. He looked very pale. It was unlike most other poisoning any of us had ever seen, so we haven't figured out what it was. Koyo figures the best way to do this was to be honest. He was pale? No redness around the mouth or anything else like that? Yoshino asked, already very confused. This didn't sound like a normal poisoning case. No, he was simply pale. I think it killed him in around 3 hours, as I said before. Koyo said, it wasn't exactly a fast-acting poison, but it wasn't a very slow one either. I see. How long were you allowed to see the body? Yoshino asked. Maybe Rampo could have been right. Was Mori really not dead? Not that long. I saw it when Chuya brought me there. And then once again, maybe an hour later, when we brought Hirotsu. Koyo was starting to think the agency definitely had some idea, but she herself had none. What did you guys do with the body? Rampo told Yoshino. This would probably be a good question. It might be able to answer a few more questions. I'm unsure. Chuya nor Valorine ever talked about what they did with the body. I just know that it was there one day and gone the next. Not a single soul in the Mafia Not an not a single other soul in the mafia other than the four of us that day ever got to see it. Koyo found it very strange even to this day. Valerian told them that he died from poisoning and that was the last they had mentioned of it. Koyo heard some talking outside from the other side of the line, but was unable to make out any of it. Thank you, Koyo. Is there anything as for right now we can do for you? Kunikita asked, being put back on the phone. Koyo paused. Let me speak to Dazai for a second, she asked, not really wanting to talk to him, but she had to ask. Of course, Kunikita said, following with the shuffling in the background. And he said, you want to talk to me? I'm flattered, Dazai said, acting like his usual annoying self. You visited Tria the other day, right? She said, jumping straight into the question. I did, Dazai said, his tone getting more serious after hearing her question. I figure you're already on it, but find out what's really going on. Tria passed an order this morning not to have contact with the agency, despite the truce. Koyo said, laying everything on the table. I promise you, Annie-san, we'll save him. I'll let you go. This couldn't have been a safe call for you to have, Dazai said, hanging up the phone before Koyo could get another word in. Koyo just sat in her office. Was this a mistake to let the agency know so much? No. She was doing this for Tria. Something was clearly wrong. She knew she couldn't figure it out on her own. So, it was good that she wasn't alone. Knock, knock, knock. Koyo, is it alright if I step in? A voice called out from behind the door. Of course, she said, fixing her posture. The person stepped into the room. Ah, Hirotsu, is there something I can help you with? Hirotsu took a seat from across from her. So, what's our plan going forward? He asked, getting straight to business. Koyo and Hirotsu knew something was wrong, but had no proof. They were trying their best to figure it out. Well, we aren't alone. It's as Octogawa said, they're on our side. Koyo said, trying to keep the conversation discreet. You never know who's lurking in the shadows. Just then, another knock came to the door. Come in, Koyo called out, and the two Octogawa siblings stepped in. Hello, Hirotsu's asked us to join you two, Octogawa said, Gin standing beside him. Come and take a seat. Koyo gestured for the two of them to sit. Gin took a seat beside Hirotsu, while Octogawa took a chair between the two couches. We're talking about Tria-san, right? Octogawa speaks up, wanting to figure out what they wanted to do. Yes, we got a letter from some people asking questions. We have help, Koyo said, hoping that the two could understand what she was trying to convey. I did as well, Octogawa said. If we have questions, maybe we should try speaking to Tria-san? Gin spoke quietly. We could, but I'm not sure if he would answer, Koyo said. I'm not sure about the rest of you, but for me at least, he's grown very distant. The others nodded along, agreeing with her. Tria hadn't been speaking to as many Port Mafia members as he used to. Most of the time, it was only if he needed someone, never to just talk anymore. They understood that being the boss was a busy job, but it was still strange for him. It's at least worth a try. Octogawa looked towards Koyo, giving the decision to her. You're right, it's worth a shot. Let's try. She stood, the others following suit and heading out the door. The four arrived at the top floor. It was different than how it was before. There was only guards at the door if neither Tria or Valerian were in the office, something that Mori had never done before. As the four of them approached the door, they heard talking. They couldn't make out any of it, but simply believed it was Valerian. That was until they heard the elevator behind them. Oh, is there something the four of you needed? What was that accent? Okay, screw it, that's Valerian's voice now. Valorine walked towards the group. Now they were confused. If Valorine was there, who was Chuya talking to? But it did suppose that it could just be. They did suppose it could just be another Mafia member. Ah, Valorine, we came to talk to Chuya. It's been a while since we all sat down and talked together. Koya spoke in a calm voice. Valorine nodded, walking towards the door and knocking on it for them. Chuya heard knocking and quickly turned towards the door. When he turned back to him, he was already gone. Come on in. Come on in, Chuya said. I don't know why I gave Chuya such a high-pitched voice. Come on in, Chuya said. At Chuya's permission, Valorine pushed the door open. Oh, hey guys, is there something you need? Chuya asked, surprised to see the group standing together in his office. If you're not too busy, we want to sit down with you. It's been a while, has it not? Koya said, a smile on her face, but worry in her. There was no one else in the room, so who was Chuya talking to? Chuya paused. It has been a while. It shouldn't be a problem. Chuya turned to Valorine, who gave him a nod. Come take a seat, Chuya said, walking towards the set of couches for the group to sit at. Chuya took a seat first, and the rest following. Valorine sat next to Chuya, Gin sat next to Hirotsu, and Octagawa sat next to Koyo. So, is there any particular reasoning for this? Valorine asked, curious as if they had a larger goal in mind. Valorine, sorry Annie-san, he gets a little questioning sometimes, Chuya said, worried Valorine would raise more questions from the four. Chuya figured that they knew something wasn't correct. These four were some of the people Chuya were closest with. If any of them were to notice, it would be them. The six continued to talk for a while, simply about how things had changed, Yokohama going forward and such. The four were waiting for a perfect time to ask one of their bigger questions. When the time felt right, Octagawa decided to ask the question. I mean no offense in saying this, but what's the reason for this order this morning? The four of them are worried that it might be a dangerous question to ask, but they had to. It's just for safety reasons. Things are still in the air with them. Chuya played off the question, answering it, but not fully giving an answer. Before the group could ask more, Valorine spoke up. It's been lovely to chat with you all, but me and Chuya still have work to attend to. I'm sure you four do as well. Chuya nodded. Yes, Valorine is right. We can continue this another time, yes? He said, sounding a bit sad towards having the end to a conversation. Yes, Koyo said, standing along with the others. The four quietly walked out the room with more questions than what they had gone from what they. Wow, thanks English. The four of them walked out of the room with more questions than they had going in. They left the room and they started to talk. That was strange. We asked the question, and then almost immediately got asked to leave, Gin said, confused about everything. Very strange. Something definitely isn't right. But Chuya had asked us to leave, so we should be going. Koya said, signed to walk to the elevator, and the others followed. Chuya, I know they're your friends, but Valorine starts getting cuts off. Chuya, you know better than that, a voice said, walking up towards Chuya, harshly grabbing his face. I'm sorry, I didn't realize they were going to ask questions. Chuya got cut off by a smack to the face. Don't do it again. The voice walked back into the shadows. Chuya, are you okay? Valorine came next to Chuya. Chuya just stood there with his eyes wide in shock. He had disappointed him before, but never had he hit him. Was this what life was going to be like going forward? Chuya, please speak to me. Valorine spoke quietly to Chuya, wrapping his arms around him and giving him a hug. It's okay, I won't let him do that ever again. Chuya looked up at Valorine. Don't make promises like that. You know what he said. Neither of us have power in this room. Let's get back to work. We still have a lot to do. Chuya said, walking towards his desk, grabbing the next piece of paperwork to work on. Valorine stood there for a second. He had come to protect Chuya, but now he and Chuya had been hopelessly trapped in the hands of a terrible man. What could the others do to save Chuya? He was all alone. Others might be trying to help, but in the end, only Valorine and Chuya knew the truth. Okay, everyone, that was chapter 7. I pre-recorded the chapter first, since I wasn't sure how long it was going to be, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do 2 chapters in this video, but hey, I'm just going to stick with 1 chapter for this video. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for sticking with me through the inconsistent uploads. What's happened? Not much has happened, but I'm on school holidays now, so that's good. I should be getting more videos out now, so hope you guys enjoyed. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Make sure to take care of yourself. Bye bye.